Hi Keith. Okay, I have your eBay special here. It's real typical. It's exactly what I expect from a Far East rework like this, with the exception one piece of good news. Let's start with one piece of good news, or actually two pieces. One, there's no pitting inside the case back, which is amazing. And two, the movement looks very bright. So, no corrosion. I was expecting the movement to be a water stained heap of junk. But very much like, very typical for Far East watches, it has been serviced, quote unquote, but not really serviced. And they did not know what they were doing. So it's running very weakly, and it has a huge amount of beat error. This is almost as much beat error as you possibly can get. So, wow, it needs a complete servicing. It needs everything. I mean, there's lubrication under the capsule, but whatever else they did, they didn't do a good job of it. And when I see this kind of thing, this kind of beat error, that means I typically, my assumption is that whoever was working on it didn't have a time grapher and they just don't have access to tools like this. They just pop these things together with whatever aftermarket parts they can get their hands on, and then just send them out into the world. The watch is entirely reworked. Every single gosh darn thing has been redone. So it's of course an aftermarket bracelet. Not only that, this bracelet is a ripoff of Uncle Seiko's Solid Link. This is one of the ones where he had these made in this factory in China, and then that factory turned around and started and sold the design to another Chinese factory. So it's a crappy knockoff of his, like it's a blurry version of his. The case back has been polished and spun up. I'm amazed that the case isn't pitted. That's usually what I see with this. I mean, that really was a surprising thing to see. So they machined the entire case, but they did it incorrectly, absolutely incorrectly. They machined every, gosh darn it, every flat surface. They've all been ground away. Every flat surface. It's almost like a mod, and it's too bad because if they'd done it correctly, if they polished this down, that actually wouldn't look bad because they got the case lines all nice and sharp again, but it was probably polished to death. Everything underneath the dial is fake. The hands, the dial. Let me double check that indicator ring really quick. Double check that indicator ring. Now, the indicator ring is actually original. Wow, okay, so I was wrong there. The indicator ring is original. The dial, oh man, the dial is absolutely fake, and the markers are fake. It's interesting because the loom, I don't know if you can see this, the loom is like sort of squished in place. It's like it was liquid plastic or something and was pressed in place. You can actually see where something went and smashed it in place. Maybe when it was being put on, the markers were being put on. So they're getting better with their fakes, but still not that great. I am going to have to look at the stem. I don't know. I'd be actually curious to see how they built this stem. If they used all the original 4 parts, or if they did something else. So let's pull that stem. Let's pull that stem. Let's see what we see. Let's see what they did. Oh my God. That's an original complete stem. It's no. That's a real stem. Gosh, that's amazing. I never would have suspected that. That's shocking. Wow, normally they would get like the weirdest parts they could get their hands on and just sort of stake the thing together well enough to work. But no, hey, that's an actual correct Seiko, correct 4-part Seiko stem. Here's your mark. Anyway, whoever this guy was, well, okay, so you had talked about trying to find original Seiko parts to rebuild this watch. I wouldn't do it. The whole watch has been reworked. It's not worth investing money into. I wouldn't bother. The most I would do is, if you're determined to try to do something with it, I can try to get the hairs out from underneath the markers. But if these are really stamped down really hard, I may not be able to get that out. I'll have to try. But even if I were to do that, the watch needs servicing. So then we get into servicing, and then you're going to invest in servicing in this watch. And then you're still going to have to deal with the fact that the case has been completely remanufactured and that everything underneath the dial except the indicator ring is fake. I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I wish you could have returned it. I just don't want you to blow any more money on something that... I just don't want you to blow money. Let's try to make it better for you. Let's find the best way to use your money. Me personally, I would not put money into this. I'm sorry for delivering bad news. That's what I would say. Don't put any more money in this, because I don't have good parts like a good dial, that kind of stuff. I simply don't have them. And if I did, honestly, I wouldn't put them into this case. Let's go for another watch. Let's go another way. That's what I would do. Remind me again how much you have into this watch when you reply. Okay, thank you.